Hey guys, this is Mr. 25 here to give you a quick rundown and preview of the upcoming winter 2021 anime season. I'll try to cover what I know about each anime as well as I can, but this video will be more on what to expect, my feelings on the anime, etc., rather than a comprehensive recommendation list. I will try to be as spoilers free as I can, so what I say in regards to the plot of an anime is not going to exceed the rough boundaries of what you can find in something like a synopsis under a Mal or Life chart, or whatever it is that you use. At the end of the video, I will have a short list of animes that I recommend and think are worth watching or have potential, so if you don't like hearing my voice, just skip right to the end. Anyway, let's get into it. Winter 2021 is a fairly stacked season, but most of the big name animes are going to be sequels. Doesn't matter what kind of person you are, there's a sequel for you. Studying engineering? Dr. Stone. Parents want you to go to med school? Watch Hadaraku Saibo. Playing the new WoW expansion? Log Horizon. Enjoys outdoor activities? Eurocamp. Pet owner? Beastars. If you like isekais, there's Tensei Slime. If you like mystery, there's Promised Neverland. If you like generic shonen knockoff, watch 7 Deadly Sins. If you like girls, there's Skotobun. If you like Amelia or Rem, there is ReZero. And finally, if you got pressure into anime, or you still like Game of Thrones, you can watch the final season of Attack on Titan with the rest of us. The final season of Attack on Titan is obviously the biggest drop season. Obviously. Everyone's seen it. If you haven't, you've definitely heard of it. The people told you about it are probably pressuring you to watch it. Really not much to say about the show at all. It's got a very strong plot, very strong cast of characters, and even if you aren't interested in seeing how the show ends, you can still have a good time watching well-directed action scenes. There's gonna be man-on-man action, man-on-titan action, and of course titan-on-titan action. The first few episodes have aired already, and from what I've seen, although Mappa is taking over for Wit Studio, the production quality is still very good, even if there's some CGI. My only issue with the current season is the choice of opening and ending, which to me sounds more like screeching than singing, even if that didn't stop millions of people from making covers of it, so I guess to each their own. In any other season, ReZero will be the most popular kid on the block. Unfortunately, it just so happens that Attack on Titan is airing in the same season. By now, I hope you've learned that a drinking game based on the number of times Subaru dies is not a very good idea. But anyway, our boy is here and back to suffer again. Maybe he can save the day this time. The great thing about ReZero is its lengthy arc. It really does flesh out the characters, events, and the world itself. This show was split into 2 cores due to COVID, and the upcoming 12 episodes should wrap up Arc 4. Unfortunately, even with Rem out of commission, Amelia still haven't been able to do anything to prove herself, mostly spending the last 12 episodes panicking, crying, and sometimes puking. I've been reminded over and over that she's not even the best white hair character in the show. Like really? But much like celebrity bathwater, Echidna's bodily fluids can just be a little too hard to pass up. Tensura is one of those animes that will get some harsh critics just for the fact it's an isekai. And today, I'm here to tell you, those people are completely right. Honestly speaking, isekais are so overdone at this point that isekai parodies are becoming overdone. Then again, it's a consumer-based market, views and dollars speak louder than Twitter comments, and as a filthy sucker for isekais, I'm definitely contributing to this issue. Still gonna watch season 2 though. It's not that amazing, but it's definitely not bad. This anime is firmly mediocre with a decent enough production and passable storyline that will keep me going, even if I do think turning into a slime doesn't really serve much in terms of plot, considering that Rimuru spends most of his time as a dude that's got a built-in Siri. Dr. Stone is just a really long DIY tutorial video cleverly disguised as an anime. The quest of saving humanity in a rock-solid world is a fairly interesting concept by itself, and the fusion of science and fiction in a focused, simple, and coherent plot is helped along by wonky and, at sometimes, very absurd characters. All in all, aside from the art style that makes Senku look like a sentient green onion head, Dr. Stone is a solid anime, and it's very easy to get into. I know I'm probably not the first one to say this, and I probably won't be the last either, but much like No Game No Life, Season 1 of Promised Neverland is the best season. Unlike No Game No Life, Season 2 is coming out this winter rather than never. As a story about a group of kids trying to escape their fate of being eaten, Season 1 had an intricate and masterful plot. It is backed by beautiful graphics and beautiful music. In particular, I really enjoyed Isabella as one of the best antagonists I can remember. I'm sure Cloverworks will still do a very good job with the second season, but the first arc sets such a high bar for the story that it's not going to be possible for the coming arcs to match it. Emma is also reminding me way too much of annoying NPCs that sends me on really frustrating quests with crazy requirements that just doesn't make any sense. If nothing else, this is definitely making me feel bad for Ray and Roman, who are understandably going to be a bit tilted. For people that still care, Log Horizon is finally getting another season, and it's been like 6 years. Unfortunately, it is still by Studio Dean, so I mean, like, don't expect too much from my animation quality. The PV also didn't really inspire that much in confidence in me, but the worst part is definitely the loss of databases of banger OP. But at least there should be more action and less daycaring for the kids, which was my worst issue for Season 2. Gotobun is back again with Season 2 to deliver your weekly dose of NaCl. And yes, I did copy and paste that name straight from Mao. I really don't know why the producers feel like they should put in a double integral sign right in the title. It makes me not able to type the name, and it reminds me of the time when I was plugging stuff into Wolfram Alpha at 4 AM. Once again, Gotobun imparts the importance of tryharding in school. You might be able to tutor 5 hot chicks at the same time, which I suppose is why my friends keep telling me to become a TA. This anime has a very stacked cast of VAs and a pretty fun storyline, even if it is kind of troll at times. Unfortunately, the anime was paced pretty poorly last season and suffers from pretty low production value, both of which are unlikely to improve in the new season, and it's a terrible shame since I really like the manga art. Eurocamp is a relaxing show about cute girls doing cute things and eating cute food. Season 2 won't change much from the tone of Season 1, and despite them using a delta symbol, I really did enjoy this anime a whole lot. If nothing else, you can watch the show about camping so you can experience the great outdoors during the lockdown, even if nothing really changed for you and for me. As a side effect of watching Eurocamp, you might be checking the price of flights to Japan, but just know that 4 of my friends almost died climbing Mount Fuji, and I was camping out in the washroom at the top because of how cold it was. Just a reminder that real life is kind of a shit anime. Hadaraku Saibo is the educational show about the cells in your body. It is also the only show you can watch before your physiology exam and not fail. In this season, as a more relatable representation of bodies of weebs like myself, they also offer the black version of the anime, airing simultaneously. It is basically a government-sponsored ad that warns you about the adverse effects of drinking and smoking. So if you can't do it for yourself, at least do it for the cute platelet cells inside of you. I think it will be fun to compare the atmosphere of the two shows for sure. And just like real life, the circumstances that you're born into defines who you are. Even though people likes to call Beastars Zootopia the anime, it is not. The story of a civilized animal society is very interesting and explores some very serious psychological and political themes. If you got over the unorthodox animation style, you're probably planning on watching Season 2 anyway, because the story is just that good. If that isn't what you're here for, then you are probably a small subset of people with some very specific interests. Nanatsu no Taizai, Fundo no Shinpan. Oh, I think this is like the 5th season of this show. Like, I lost interest a long time ago in this anime, and I'm just barely keeping up with the story. At this point, it's pretty much only sunk cost fallacy that's powering me through what I hope to be the last season of the show. At the very least, the music is great, some fights can be pretty hype, and oh, they changed the studio theme. Well, it's fucking doomed. The last sequel I want to talk about is Uma Musume. For a random mismatch of horse girls, sports, and idols, Season 1 was pretty good. The show looked good, the story wasn't bad, and I liked the part where it was historically accurate for the most part. I just enjoyed watching cute horse girl doing cute horse girl things. I would be lying if I said I wasn't excited for Season 2. If nothing else, I want some great character songs again. Cygames is not afraid of opening their massive wallet. Uma Musume is supposed to be based on a gacha game, but the game itself is delayed again. It's going to be more than 2 seasons of anime, and a dozens of music CDs released before anyone's even played the game. That's some ridiculous cost of an advertisement. But then again, it is Cygames, and the prize pool of Shadowverse Worlds is $1 million. Yes, Shadowverse. So they got some money to burn. There is also World Trigger, Sorcerer Stabber Orphan, and Nanan Biori. But if you're watching any of these shows or even considering it at all, then my opinion probably doesn't mean a whole lot to you. Before moving on to the new titles, I just want to say that there's actually a ridiculous number of light novel adaptations this season. 11 animes, which is basically the same number as the total number of animes a decade ago. And you know what that means? A truckload of isekais. For many of you, this may be the second coming of the apocalypse, but for degenerates like me, it's probably the greatest thing since Kirito started playing SAO. But for your viewing pleasure, I have included a timestamp below if you want to skip the isekai section. So to start things off, we have Mushoku Tensei. This is actually the OG isekai, and essentially the one that opened the Pandora's box of isekai to the world. The web novel really popularized the isekai genre as a whole, so if you hate isekais, this is the one to blame. With that said, world building and storytelling in this series is very good, and that's why it inspired many writers to take up the mantle of isekai. The premise itself is about as cliche as it gets though. The main character, Rudius, is reincarnated into a fantasy world and uses his knowledge from the past life to become a baller and build his harem. The unfortunate thing about this anime is that there are for sure going to be scenarios that you find more overdone than my mom's steaks, even if Mushoku Tensei was the one that came up with it first. When it's all said and done, I still think it's going to be a very solid show, because even if everything else goes to shit, the story's good, the preview looked good as well, despite it being by a new studio. For generic isekais like this, people absolutely do judge a book by its cover, so the packaging means a whole lot. The only thing that matters more, of course, is the design of the waifus. Kumo Desu Naniga is another very popular isekai. With how saturated the genre is, new authors are going to have to get creative, and this novel contributes by turning the main character into a spider, even if all her classmates didn't. Hey man, writing isekais is pretty rough nowadays. We got reincarnated as a slime, reincarnated as a sword, so with options dwindling down, we got reincarnated as a vending machine, or hot springs. So life is also getting pretty rough for people that get hit by trucks. In comparison, being a spider really isn't that bad. I did enjoy the story progression in the light novel a lot. The world exploration, obtaining different skills, various battles, etc. are all very unique and interesting. So I do believe that there is a lot the anime has to work with. Well, that was until I thought the first preview. Like, Jesus Christ, man. I don't want to be harping on CGI because I usually don't mind them too much, and they're kind of a necessary evil. But like, really, everything is CGI. It just looks ridiculous, like some sort of toy convention. The dragon you see is supposed to be some sort of final boss, and it just looks like a dumb Bakugan or something you see out of a shitty card game anime. I absolutely cannot understand the design choices to do this, because when her human classmates are shown on screen, they look totally fine without the CGI. Like, great even. It's almost like a cruel joke or something. It also doesn't look like much has changed in the newer PV, but you know, still down to check this anime out. Another isekai on the menu is Kayari, something something healing something something. I can't say the full name. Anyway, I haven't got much to say about this show to be honest, but I think it's probably going to be pretty average, stereotypical, a degenerate harem isekai that will probably get between a 6 and a 6.5 on Mel. If you like animal girls and monster girls, great, give this a try. But if you don't like edgy main characters with like a Sasuke kind of revenge story, probably don't bother. The hidden dungeon that only I can enter is not an isekai per se, but you know what they say, if it looks like a duck and quacks like one, might as well just call it a duck. Outside of the whole summon, reincarnate, jumbo mambo shenanigans, hidden dungeon is basically your run-of-the-mill isekai. Some random dude finds a secret dungeon with some hot girls inside, and the girl teaches him an OP ability that can only be used when you do things with girls that are unlocked by buying the Blu-ray. In all seriousness, the story has absolutely zero substance aside from setting up for more ecchi scenes, and the characters have about the same amount of personality as a cardboard cutout. With that said, unlike other isekais, this one definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, and doesn't pretend it's any more than a meme parody fanservice show. As long as you don't use your brain when you watch this anime, you might even have a pretty good time. If you happen to love both Isekai and Yuri, Other Side Picnic could be a pretty decent watch. Two girls meet in a different dimension that they manage to travel to, and it's full of unusual phenomena and supernatural beings. Comparing that with other isekais, the two can travel between the two worlds in pursuit of wealth and knowledge. The show doesn't have any power-ups, and more importantly, doesn't have any guys. So I think the anime is unique enough to warrant a try at least. The last isekai-esque show of the season is Suppose a Kid from the Last Dungeon Boonies Moved to a Starter Town. I hate this type of show because it doesn't even have an abbreviation that I can use. Sakfatalabzaptast just doesn't have that ring to it. The premise of this anime is basically this. You are Bugcatcher Joey. You live on Victory Road, right before where the Elite Four is. All the bike riders and elite trainers are dumpstering your level 70 Butterfree and level 72 Beedrill. And you go like, man, screw this. So you go to Pewter City and start to challenge the trainers and gym leaders there. And you can probably imagine how things are turning out. Regardless, the light novel is actually pretty funny, and the story, well, it's mostly for the lulz. The preview looks solid so far, so I'm expecting a good, relaxing show that is easy to digest and fun to follow. Kemono Jihin is a supernatural anime, and if Jujutsu Kaisen and Inspector had a kid, this will be it. It's a story about a young boy solving supernatural cases. That's pretty much it. But it's got a good balance of action and mystery, so if you like any of these elements, as well as occult, yokai, and stuff like that, this show has a very strong package. It's got a well-constructed story, and pretty good characters. What I don't like is the name of one of the characters. It sounds like a real tongue twister. Iwaki Yama Yuki Sato Shiro Nano Go Juroku Shi Akira, which is more like a light novel title to me. My one concern for this anime is that it's done by Studio Adriodu, which can be pretty hit or miss in terms of animation quality. If we take a look at Bookworm, for example, it looked pretty terrible. But he still ended up with an 8 for the second season on Mal, so who knows. What I do think is that for an action-focused show, the animation quality is going to be a much bigger deal. So the show will definitely suffer if the studio is not improving on that front. X-Arm. I'm not even going to say anything about this anime, and I'll just play the preview right here.
Like 1,000 miles away, I heard someone saying wake up and then brings back nostalgic. It's a totally different world, but I'm feeling that I'm meant to be here when that fog has gone. Because my soul is still and won't stop. Now it's the time to go. Hello, hello.
Yeah, this is like Handshaker Season 2. Pretty sure my animation project in grade 8 looked better than this. If you're expecting some cyberpunk type of anime, you can watch this and experience the disappointment all over again. But yeah, don't waste your time. Heaven's Design Team is an anime about a design team. Who would have thought? Wow. Trying to meet the unreasonable requests of God himself. It's basically a gag anime that gives you bits of animal trivia. Could be a fun watch if you don't mind a bit of repetitiveness. Maiko-san Chino Makanai-san is a slice of anime about a girl working at the house for apprentice geishas. 1. Geishas are not prostitutes, FYI. 2. This is actually a cooking anime. It's pretty nice and relaxing, but you're gonna have to deal with the weird animation style that's a little bit unorthodox. Horimiya is a high school romance show from over a decade ago. That was when this genre was all the rage. Nowadays, pure romance is on its last legs. All this no drama, no bullshit kind of anime and manga is just all dying out. The story mainly focused on the relationship between the A student Kyoko Hori and the otaku-looking Izumi Miyamura that doesn't do well in school. Through sheer chance, they learn about the hidden sides of one another and begin to grow closer as friends. On a side note, if anime could actually tell me what GPA range is best for finding a girlfriend, that would be great, because I'm getting a lot of mixed information here. Anyhow, this will probably be a pretty great anime, There's no bullshit stupid situations to push the story forward, and unlike Twitch streamers, all the characters are pretty organic and don't lose their brain cells over the smallest things. You just don't get those in newer mangas nowadays. Instead, we get stuff like Rent a Girlfriend and Domestic Nakanojo. So for those that don't mind a show that is more character oriented with very slow developing relationships, this will be a good watch. Bottom tier character Tomozaki-kun is an anime I'm pretty excited for. Main character Tomozaki is rank 1 challenger, but hard-stuck Iron IRL. When he meets the most popular girl in the school, he starts to boost him out of elo hell in the game of life. Tomozaki-kun falls under what I call the Origairu category. A school drama show centered around relationships, character development, and know-it-all life advice. If you too want to better yourself and become a winner in life, take notes. As a more character-focused show, Tomozaki-kun has a cast of unique characters, and more importantly, cute girls you can simp for. Compared to Origairu, this show is much more upbeat and lighthearted, whereas Origairu tends to be a bit more depressing, serious, and melancholic. While I do think some of the events are overly dramatic, I believe the hilarious interactions between characters are more than enough to make up for it. From the preview, the anime has done a great job with translating the original character design into the anime format, but my only concern is that Project Number 9 isn't exactly a studio renowned for quality. Their only consistency is in how bad the shows they choose to adapt are. Fingers crossed though. I just hope that shit doesn't hit the fan a few episodes in. Hot guys playing sports is a staple in, well, every single anime season. This time we got 3. You can take your pick. Hot dudes on skateboards with a name that grade 7 me would think is the coolest thing ever. There are hot guys playing volleyball as well. But since they're also playing in the spring tournament, you can probably find them in the next Haikyuu season anyway. Finally, there's hot dudes surfing, an anime I know nothing about aside from the fact that the dudes are super hot. There are also some game adaptations, but let's be honest here, when's the last time a game had a decent anime? Uma Musume doesn't count because the game haven't come out yet. There are also some original idol shows that no one will ever bother to watch, and wow, there's an original mecha show. But I think the only good thing that will come out of the show is a nice Lisa opening. There may be one new original anime that could turn out well, Wonder Egg Priority. Yeah, I mean the name is stupid AF, but the preview looks super sick. Production quality looks to be on par with the likes of Attack on Titan and ReZero, but with original shows like this, it's always a toss-up on how the story turns out. A description that says believe in yourself and smash that egg doesn't exactly tell the most about an anime, and sounds more like a YouTube slogan. Support my channel and smash that like button! What I can tell you with my 2 minutes of research is that the only thing the scriptwriter has done before this are 3 mangas, 2 of which are yaoi bait, and one of them is called Oni-chan Gacha. So take that however you will. Anyway, that's all I got for this video. Hope it wasn't too bad, and I'll see you guys next time.